All right. Good Thursday evening, everyone. Thanks for stopping by for a check of the forecast. We said we were probably going to jump back on later this evening, and here we are, a little bit past 9 o'clock. We've got some additional information that we do want to talk about. The Weather Prediction Centers went ahead and put out a mesoscale precipitation discussion, basically just talking about the chance for rain here across the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles through the remainder of tonight into Friday morning. We've been talking about this the last day or two. We thought that this evening was going to be the best chance for widespread thunderstorm activity with all of our parameters that would benefit storm chances really just overlapping one another. And that seems to be certainly unfolding as we head into tonight. But severe weather is still going to be possible on a localized level, but it's not our biggest concern. Biggest issue is going to be that flood threat as we go through the overnight hours. We are expecting these storms to continue to grow in coverage. We are starting to see some of that unfold out here in places like Palmer and the western portion of Smith County. We've actually got a what you call MCV, mesoscale convective vortex, coming out of northeast New Mexico. This one expected to have some forward motion to it. So our the amount of rain that we inevitably see probably will be limited just due to the fact that it's going to have a west to eastern component through the overnight hours. So you may only see rain for a couple hours tonight, but it could be very heavy rain. And that's what's going to lead to that flood concern. We do have that new severe thunderstorm warning up there in mostly Lipscomb County. These storms have been certainly very feisty the last hour or so up here. They are producing winds up to 60 miles per hour. The hail threat is not much of a concern, but that warning is in effect until 9:30 p.m. this evening. And then we still have that one warning out there, which is expected to expire here within the next 10 minutes out there in Briscoe County. But you can see a lot of reds and pinks showing up on the radar, just indicating very heavy rainfall in some of these areas. You can see we still have a flash flood warning in effect until 10:15 from places like Tucumcari and San Juan north up through Ute Lake and then up Ute Creek towards Gallegos and Logan, New Mexico. Some of those areas in that warning as well. Also have a flash flood warning in southern Union County where they're still dealing with some rain. Now, there's a really nice pocket of heavy rain really moving right through the Canadian River Valley right now, and that could lead to some flooding issues if you're out there camping, at some of the campgrounds there underneath Highway 87 or near Highway 87, just keep that in mind. You may want to avoid the riverbed or the river channel. There's probably going to be an influx of water coming at some point. It could start as early as tonight. And probably will have an elevated level to the river for the next several days, given how much rain has fallen in some of these areas. We'll go ahead and take a quick look at some of the radar estimates for rain over the last 6 hours. These are not gospel truth numbers, but they do give us a very good idea of kind of some of these pockets of where the heaviest rain has fallen. And if we take a quick sample at some of these spots, you can see 3 inches there, 2.4 there in that bullseye, 2.5, 2.7. Now there's some other areas that have missed rain. You've got 0 here in this hole where there hasn't been any rain so far today. But it's a more general numbers, anywhere from a tenth of an inch to probably pockets of 1 to 2 inches of rain falling in some of these areas. So there's a lot of water that's probably going to run off from this event, given how fast it's fallen. You can see even down here in Smith County that have had over 2 inches of rain in a localized area. 3 to 4 inches of rain down there south of Highway 60 and Dawn and Umbarger. That aerial flood advisory still in effect down there. Let's go ahead and take a quick gander at that. That's running until 9:15, so that'll probably be allowed to expire uh, fairly quickly. Let's go jump back over to the radar just to show you what it looks like. So long story short, what was talked about in that mesoscale precipitation discussion, I'll go ahead and pull it up and I can probably read some of it to you. Some of it may not make sense, some of it will. CAMs, which are our close range models, generally have struggled, and that's not just for today's case, it's been all week. And it's probably going to be the case next week as well, which we may get into that here in a little while. But the latest couple of rounds that have come out from the HER for the models, capturing a better current situation for the thunderstorm activity. They do show storms persisting overnight tonight, and so that's kind of the general trend and theme. We've got about 2,000 to 3,000 joules of CAPE. We only need about 1,000 to get a severe storm going. We're actually with that MCV coming out of New Mexico. That's allowing the air aloft to actually cool off And so that's just allowing for a steeper mid-level lapse rate. And what that does is it just means that our updrafts for storms are going to be a bit more robust. So these storms are going to produce some heavier rain rates when those downdrafts do form. And so that's one of the parameters. We've got a lot of water in the atmosphere as it is. Right now, precipitable water is at about 1.5 inches over our heads here in Amarillo. Precipitable water is basically all the water vapor. If you condensed it to liquid and brought it down to the surface, that is how much water we have in the atmosphere. And we've got about 1.5 inches over our heads in Amarillo right now. That's between the 90th and 99th percentile for this time of year. And so we're in that top 10%. So definitely a lot of water to work with. Storms are going to probably produce rain rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour based off of current observations that we've had over the last few hours. That's probably going to continue where you see these heavier pockets of rainfall. So don't be shocked if you get caught under one of these thunderstorms and you can only see, 40, 50 feet in front of you because the visibility is going to be low at that high of a rain rate. But that's inevitably why we will have a flood concern. Let's go ahead and run this model through this radar for about 45 minutes through a loop, just so you can see. I do want to point out, we've got another thing that we're also watching. There's this outflow boundary right here, right in here. It's just passed through Panhandle. It's coming through Palo Duro Canyon State Park. Winds are coming from the southeast here. And we also have an outflow boundary over here. And this was something that I don't think I told you guys, but talked about with some of our storm chasers, if this might happen around 10 o'clock tonight, is if we were going to get a collision of outflow boundaries. Well, these could end up colliding over Amarillo and Canyon. And when you get all this air squashed at the surface, it's got one direction to go, and that's up. And so we may end up seeing storms try and pulse up here within the next hour here over the city here in Potter and Randolph County. So definitely think that we will start to see some development kind of in this generalized area. It may not be directly over the city, but it is something that we may have to monitor here through the next 60 minutes, especially when those outflow boundaries do find each other there somewhere over the city. So we will keep an eye on that too. That's pretty much all I had to talk about weather-wise for the immediate situation. Rain totals of 1 to 3 inches possible in several areas. We may get some localized 3 to 5 inch rain totals tonight. So it's going to be a lot of water in a short period of time. Just make sure that you are taking those aerial flood advisories, those flash flood warnings seriously. Probably going to get more of those issued through the overnight hours. But we're going to go ahead and let you go, let you enjoy the rest of your evening. Make sure that you stay weather aware with us here at Storm Surge 7. If anything changes in the forecast, we'll jump back on to let you guys know.